Today we're talking about the only deck in Vanguard that's a bigger joke than I am. That's right, it's the worst deck in the game, Eugene. It's a deck that was power crept by every other nation upon release, and that continues to fail in just about every regard. So, how do we make this deck playable? Simple. We ignore the deck's intended strengths and see what it's actually good at. Let me ask you a question. What decks are actually hurt by mass retiring? It's not Brews. They don't call anything till you're dead. It's not Orfist. They can just make more tokens. It's not Bastion or Hexorb, as Fasado makes it impossible to target. Definitely not Zorga. Surprisingly, it's not Magnolia either. They can just get their stuff back thanks to Alina and their new spell. Or they can just rush you down and kill you. Hand size be damned. It's also not Prison or Baron Magnus, as there aren't a lot of good targets to retire. The only deck that really suffers from mass retiring is Nirvana with the Overdress mechanic. Nothing else is really sufficiently hurt by mass retiring. This means the majority of Eugene's support is not worth running, and Eugene's skill should be used as a sniper and not a machine gun. Let's get to my deck list now. A few key takeaways are the Eugene ride line simply lets you hit 5 cards in Soul and draws you a card. The Grade 2 also gives you the option to trade a Counterblast for an additional Soul charge on your Grade 2 turn. Your additional retiring cards come from Strong Fortress Dragon, Idris, and Kazan Reiji. The 2 key cards that can benefit off of retiring are Idris, who can give massive attack gains, and Tribash, who can give your Vanguard an extra crit. I find Tribash very useful when trying to get your opponent to drop perfect guards from hand. The trigger lineup is 8 crit, 4 heal, and 3 draw. I like fronts, but they can be very awkward in this deck because of Tribash. You also need crit pressure, because this deck doesn't do a whole lot elsewise, and the draw consistency helps. Let's talk about the Verena engine in Eugene. The why is very simple. Card draw and a target to rest for Eugene's skill. This is because when you overdress on top of a rested unit, the unit becomes stood, thus allowing you to use Eugene's skill at no cost and potentially get value. But is it consistent? Surprisingly, yes. The math lets us find that we're going to be able to see a Trickstar plus an Arx or Valiente approximately about 90% of the time thanks to Eugene's skill. Even if we're not reliant on it, we're still going to see this about 77.6% of the time. This is because of the draw power inherent in Eugene's ride engine, and with the natural, consistent nature of Vanguard. An overall summary is that if it gets value by being on the board, kill it, and oftentimes you're just clearing stuff to activate Eugene's skill. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more Eugene content. I have a few Eugene gameplay videos coming up to show off the deck, so stay tuned until that.